Good morning. It is Saturday morning and today is Lydia's birthday. She turned 6 years old. I think her time of birth was 3:34 in the morning, and we are just getting picked up because her party is this afternoon. I thought I'd quick share with you a really quick version of Lydia's birth because I was not vlogging at the time, and I don't think I've ever told you guys this story and why her birth led us to having 3 other home births. Lydia was born 1 day before her due date. I was really concerned because Peter was born 5 days early and John was born 2 full weeks early, so when I got that close to my due date, I was starting to think she would never be born or anything like that, and I was feeling a little despondent, was having my usual lots of Braxton Hicks and all that, and so I went to bed around 11:30, woke up at midnight to these really strong contractions, and I'm like, this cannot be labor because I don't just go from 0 to instant just like that. And so I said to Art, let's call my sister-in-law. I don't want to call my mom right now because it's the middle of the night, and if this is nothing, then they're going to be tired, then we're going to be tired. So I called my sister-in-law. She comes down. I decided to hop in the shower because they always say if you take a shower and the contractions stop, then it was just false labor. So I get in the shower, and Art comes in and says, Lisa's here, and she's not feeling very good herself. And I'm thinking, oh no, she's going to stay here with the 3 kids, and she's not feeling good. So I got out of the shower, came downstairs. She had an awful migraine. And so while I'm in labor, I'm cleaning the bathroom for her because she thought she was going to get sick. And I'm like, I think we should call my mom because this definitely seems like it's the real thing. My mom gets there maybe 2:30 in the morning. And she's like, oh yeah, you're definitely in labor because remember, she's been at all of my births. And so she's like, I think we need to go now. And I'm like, no, they're uncomfortable, but I feel fine. This is very classic me. Labor and me, I don't get serious until my water breaks. And I still, because this was only number 4, I really wasn't overly concerned about it. I'm like, no, I'm not ready to go. Mom's like, I really think you need to go. So I finally listened to a voice of reason, and Mara says, hang on a second, I want to eat breakfast before we leave. And Aunt Lisa thinks this is so funny because Art says he wants to eat before we leave. It's 3 o'clock in the morning. So Art has his breakfast. We finally get in the car on the road at 3:13 in the morning. I will never forget that time. We get down. I am in great spirits. I'm like, oh, this is just like being on call. The weather, had been a hot day day before. It was cool. That night, there was a beautiful breeze, and I'm like, oh, this is just like when I used to ride nights. So the emergency squad, I feel great. Art hits the railroad track down the street, and bang, my water broke. And all of a sudden, I said, uh-oh. And Art said, what's wrong? And I said, my water just broke. And you guys know, if you've watched my other birth videos, when my water breaks, I do not wait long to deliver. And I was still a solid 10-15 minutes away from the hospital. So there's a little sense of panic there. I'm thinking, oh no, I'm going to be delivering this baby in the car. And so Art goes a little bit faster. I mean, it is 3 in the morning, so there's like no traffic on the roads. But I had a backup place. There was a fire department on our route that I figured we could stop at if we ran into problems. So I'm thinking, okay, we're going to probably end up having to stop there, and oh, the firemen are going to have to deliver the baby, and oh, it's going to be awful. Well, we start approaching the firehouse, and it was shut down for repairs. They had moved to another location, so that was not even an option. Our backup plan was like, zoop, gone. So Art is proceeding to the hospital, and he hands me my cord for the green light. He says, plug in the green light because I'm going to go through this red light and I don't want to get pulled over. And I'm like, I'm a little busy here trying not to have this baby in our car. And so we pull in, and I'm sitting in the car, and he has to go because this is a women's hospital. They shut the place down. All the doors are locked at night, so you have to go to the emergency entrance and ring a bell for them to let you in. So he rings the bell, and Art, being who he is, he's very calm, and he's like, my wife is in labor. Could you please let us in? Oh, we're waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. And it seemed like it was forever. And we're still waiting, and they finally come down, and they come with a wheelchair and nothing else. That was it. And Art's like, she's like ready to deliver. And I don't think they really believed Art because every husband says that. So the lady comes over, the nurse comes over to our car, and she took one look at me, and she's like, I don't know if she radioed in or if she went back to the bell and told them to bring in a gurney, but it was bad. And so they had no gloves, they had no OB kit, and I had gloves in my car from being a first responder. So I said, Art, get the gloves from the trunk. He handed them to the nurse, and she checked me, and she's like, I think she said I was a +2 station, which means the head was just about crowning. And the gurney comes out and I'm like, just let me deliver in the car. And they're like, no, you're not delivering in this car. And they pretty much dragged me out of the car onto the gurney, and I'm going, this is awful. This is not how a baby is supposed to be born. And they had to take me into the hospital, up the elevator to the delivery room, running down the hall. Nobody's paying attention to me. There's like sheer panic everywhere. And we get in and they're saying to me, don't push, don't push. I'm like, skip this. This baby is coming when this baby's coming. If I'm pushing, I'm pushing. And so they wheeled me into the delivery room, and instantaneously her head was born. Well, then the intern who was in, because my midwife wasn't there yet, saw that her head was born, but I hadn't finished delivering the shoulders, and then she went into like this state of panic. She's like, oh no, the shoulders are stuck, and they're thinking shoulder dystocia. And so she starts pulling on Lydia, and I gave one hard push, and whew, out she came. And it was just the most traumatic birth that I had ever had, because of the rate of speed, the driving there, and then how they responded to the delivery. It was really not a pleasant birth. Yes, it was very rapid, but it was not a pleasant birth. And that is part of the reason why we decided that for the other kids, we wanted to do a home birth, because it was just the whole environment surrounding the birth was really negative, and it was not what we wanted. And the home births really are much more calm, relaxed. We're not driving, we're not panicking about going to the hospital or anything like that. And so that is Lydia's birth story. It was very, very dramatic. I remember 2 weeks before I delivered Lydia, we were at our village-wide garage sale, and this lady came up to me out of the blue. I have no idea who she was, and she said to me, can I pray with you? And I'm thinking, okay. And so she said, I was sitting over there and God told me I needed to pray for you. So she prayed with me. Then maybe a week later, I was on the phone with the Navigators, a Bible ministry group, and he says, can I pray with you? I want to pray with you and for your baby. And so it kind of freaked me out, because I'm thinking, why are all these strangers coming up and praying for me? But I didn't know what was about to happen. And so I really do believe that those people, those prayers, and the prayers of our friends and family is what led us to being able to get to the hospital on time and safely and deliver Lydia. That's the story of Lydia's delivery in a nutshell, high speed. I hope you enjoyed it. And now we're going to go and celebrate Lydia's birthday.